when I first started doing art, it was I think I was like drawing on the walls with my poop as a baby. Like my mom came home one day and just saw like a whole mural. She's like, "Oh, this is nasty, but it's pretty, wasn't it?"
Welcome to Did You Know? Unearthing Urban Creatives, where each episode dives into the heart of creativity, unmasking the stories, talents, and innovative spirits that bring our urban landscape to life. I'm your host, Jason Mashinsky, along with my partner, Lindsay Mashinsky. This season, we're thrilled to bring you the Roundtable Sessions, a special series that turns the spotlight on local artists, transforming ordinary tables into extraordinary pieces of art. Each episode is a celebration of diversity, creativity, and community, reflecting our mission to connect listeners with artists and thinkers who are helping to redefine and energize our city. Stay tuned as we explore the creativity that thrives in the hidden corners and wide open spaces of our city's urban environment. Today we're going to talk to Steph. Hi, Steph. How's it going? Yeah. We're thrilled to welcome Stephany Victorine. Victorine, I like that. There we go. To Did You Know? Unearthing Urban Creatives, originally from Seychelles, am I saying that correctly? And now a dynamic part of Ottawa's art scene and tattoo scene too. Stephany is an illustrator and tattoo artist whose work brings joy and a splash of color to everyday life, from charming illustrations to quirky animals and people to engaging comics drawn from daily experiences. Stephany's creations are a celebration of community and creativity. And it's great to have you with us today. And let's dive into your artistic journey.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, buddy. Now, one thing I really like from your bio, if you don't mind me reading off it, you wrote in your bio, illustration has been a passion of mine since childhood. Creating visual stories has always made me feel seen and understood. That's a really interesting thing. Can you kind of elaborate on that a bit?
So like as a youngling, as a young person, like I would always doodle in a lot of my textbooks and even my books that I would read and everything. And sometimes it will be the only way I could communicate properly with people. I'll just doodle something I'm angry, or if I'm like happy, or just feeling a vibe, and I'll just like create something. And a lot of my friends would be able to like see what type of mood I'm in, or my mom would like have a little peep in my journals and see all the drawings and be like, "Oh, Stephany did something today." Like, what's going on here? Why is there a dead bird? But it was just like a really easier form of communication, because like I grew up in a strict household, and doing illustrations was my only outlet to like express myself a little bit, and ever since then I just used it a lot for a lot of my self-expression, especially as a person with autism. Drawing helps a lot with communication, which I really like.
Oh, that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So let's start with one of the questions that we have for you, and thanks for that. So, Steph, you shared with us how you began your journey. Can you share with us how you began your journey as an artist and what initially drew you to art? I know you kind of answered that a little bit in the last question, and then over and above that, like, what are your influences in your artistic style?
When I first started doing art, it was I think I was like drawing on the walls with my poop as a baby. Like my mom came home one day and just saw like a whole mural. She's like, "Oh, this is nasty, but it's pretty. What's nasty?"
So your house wasn't that strict then?
No, not in the beginning. Not in the beginning, but then like I started getting introduced to like schools and everything, and I remember in kindergarten. Was it kindergarten? It was like a daycare center, and they started teach us how to like play with paint and like just move things around on paper, and it just like fascinated me so much. And then when I started attending primary school, I met one of my art teachers that used to go to school with my mother, and he would start like introducing me to a lot of techniques, a lot of the masters, and just like showing me a lot of things that involved art, and I just like got obsessed with that. And because I have autism, like I didn't know back then, but because I have autism, it was like something I could hyper focus on, and like I said before, like it was a really fun way of communicating. So I just started using all of those things and like letting people see what I see all the time or feel, and it was like really good. And then I got to do it I got to like focus a bit more during my post-secondary years. So I did A-levels, which is like part of the British system, and I did some fine arts there, and like I got introduced to a different variety of art, because before I only knew fine arts. But during the fine art course, they started introducing like illustration and like how like you don't have to just paint. You can like do covers for albums or like books and stuff like that, and just like open my mind a little bit more, which is really great. I forgot what the other question was.
Well, I mean, you're sort of discussing it, your influences more or less.
Influences was just like a lot of the books, like Kevin Bacon was like, is it Kevin Bacon? I always get that confused.
I think it's Francis Bacon.
Francis Bacon. Oh, Footloose. Francis Bacon. And
I was like, Kevin Bacon, interesting.
It's like, Kevin, he does a lot of painting. But like Francis Bacon and a bunch of other older artists. There's even this other artist, I forgot her name, but there's a story. My prof told me a story where she would trap herself in a tower and just do a whole bunch of paintings and photography of her body warped in like a bunch of like ways, and was just so fascinating. And I was like, I want to like imitate that and like do something where it can like affect the way people like see my work. Like I want them to feel something, either joy or just like, this is weird or something like that. And then like just even everyday experiences, like I want to try and capture it in a way where it's just like it can be memorialized without having to be a photograph. Because even when I was younger, I remember photographs were like so expensive to have or take. So it's like, let me just put it on paper and then see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been fun ever since. Yeah.
Is your mother like artistically inclined too?
She is a little bit. Like I used to watch her do like on her days where she's like she didn't want to clean because she's OCD. She would like do some canvases, or she'll like make she'll take like old glass bottles that she would find and cover it in cement and stuff. And just like it was really, really fun. And she'll always get us to be a little bit creative. But then as the years got older, she's just like, I don't want to do this anymore. She used to be really good at crochet, like French crochet, but like not even looking. And she'll make so many like tablecloths in a day. Wow. It was really lovely. But then she's like, it's too boring for her now. But
back to cleaning.
Yeah, back to cleaning. Or she's just like, watch me. She's like, you can do better.
The critique.
Yeah, she's such a huge critique. It drives me crazy.
How has your like artistic style evolved over the years? Because you kind of evolved from, well, early on you a lot of illustration, and now obviously you're doing tattooing. How has it evolved over the last years?
I think I'm trying to marry them all together, and that's where I'm kind of struggling because I want to do everything. Because like I've also studied like printmaking as well during my university years, and it just like I want to create like a flow of all my pieces, even on skin, on lino, on like limestone, and all these other mediums. And I just like, I think it's still evolving to this day. Like I'll do like the painting behind me, I'll do that painting. I'm like, I don't think I could do it again after this, but I'm like, I get to learn a bit more, and then I'm just like, oh, maybe I can like apply the next technique. Like even in tattooing, it taught me to like start with dark colors and then go light, which I think was something I was missing when it comes to like traditional mediums, because I'll be like, oh, I'll just mix everything and see what happens, and everything turns brown. But then with tattooing, there's like all these rules. I'm just like, I should implement that in my paintings, like how I did it with this painting. I started like dark colors and then started applying the whites and just like slowly just packing it on top of each other. And then I have like less browns, which is not fun. All poopy.
More poop art. I mean, we could go with it. See what happens.
It's a form of expression. It's great.
Behind glass.
It's all organic too. That's also good.
Yeah, there you go.
Natural. You've mentioned too that you have synesthesia.
Yeah. I hate it sometimes because like there'll be moments where I see like my synesthesia is mostly like, visual, and then my mouth tastes it all. So like I'll see like the white of the table, it tastes like teeth sometimes, or like some greens taste really mossy. And I used to lick a lot of things, so like that's why I have all that bank information. Like even some browns, some like brown black ones will taste like ants because I used to chew on ants.
Really?
So like, but when I create pieces, I try to aim for like a cotton candy type of texture in my mouth, where it's like fun and smooth and like sweet. So whenever like I do like pieces that I don't like, it's just like rocks in my mouth or sandpaper, and I don't like it. So whenever, especially when I do tattoos, I'll be like, I have to put a mask on because I'm drooling from the cotton candy, and I'm just like, oh, this is so good. But if I don't like it, I'm just like, this is just sandpaper to me. Like I don't want to do this anymore. But I won't tell my clients, of course.
Well, hopefully there's no tell that people knows. No.
Oh, well, unless I start complaining about something else, then you can. I'm not having a good time. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Is this a formal apology to everyone going forward?
Yeah.
Just bring cotton candy to everyone.
No, but I don't even like cotton candy that much, to be honest. But it's just like in my mouth, it's satisfying. And then like, I don't know, but if you take me to rock shows though, like that's the best time. It's just lollipop and happiness.
Really?
It's just all that smoothness. Because like I even used to suck on marbles and just like just seeing all the rocks and fossils. I'm like, oh, that was a good time. It was lovely.
At first, when you said rock shows, I thought like rock shows, but you're actually talking about
like
rocks. Okay.
Like all the fossils and gems.
Yeah.
It's a good time. My partner took me to one this summer, and it was just like, oh, it was so good. I was just so happy.
So, Steph, can you tell us about the piece for the roundtable session and what was the concept behind the work?
So I struggled with the concept for a bit because like it's really hard to work on a round canvas sometimes because everyone's like so like used to like squares and rectangles. But for this piece, I decided to wing it and just do a caiman with a little cutie pie doll, which like is very prevalent in the tattoo industry. And caimans also have a significant like history in my culture where, my country, where during colonial times, the white man would come and they would just like hunt all the animals that they found very interesting. Like in Mauritius, they hunted all the dodos and the dodos are extinct. Whereas in Seychelles, they hunted all of the caimans and now the caimans in Seychelles are extinct and they hunted the dugongs, which are sea cows, and they just like I'm just gonna leave the country in general instead of become extinct. And I just thought I was like, you know what, I'll bring the caiman in, and it's really something that's fun to draw. Like I love crocodiles sometimes unless they're eating like weird people.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, and I just like, I just like brought that in, and in a lot of the Creole culture, like even in Louisiana, crocodiles and caimans and alligators are really like in the scene for everything. Like even witch doctors like involve like caimans and crocodiles. I'm just like, let me just throw a little Creole sauce in there because I'm also Creole. But yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, because the cutie pie, the little small baby, you say that's a tradition in tattooing.
Yeah, so it's like you will find a lot of cutie pie drawings in old school styles, and then also like I don't know if they started back in the day, but even nowadays like people tattoo the cutie pie dolls, and then we even try to sell it, or we just like customize it and keep it for ourselves.
Oh, so they buy the dolls and they actually tattoo them.
Yeah, they actually tattoo them.
Yeah.
And it's really fun because like then you're just not tattooing a person. It's like I'm gonna decorate this in my own little way.
They're super cute.
Yeah, they're lovely.
So the work is kind of like a fusion between like your tattooing and then essentially your culture as well.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
And that Creole lifestyle.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So can you walk us through your creative process for the roundtable and like the initial idea and the execution, or perhaps the techniques and materials? I know you've already kind of touched on about how tattooing has influenced the actual piece as well too, how you developed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said before, like tattooing, we always start from dark to light. And even in painting, we'll always put like a little burnt sienna or something on a color base just to like guide us, because sometimes just white is just blurry. So so for this piece, like we started off as a white base, and then I went over with burnt sienna. Well, burnt sienna, but I also like did a whole graphite base as well, just of darkness. And then I start to build on top of that, whereas I work from darkness to light. So like I start with dark greens on top of burnt sienna, then introduce lighter greens and white, and just like slowly pile that on together. And it's an interesting slow process, especially with the way I've been painting. It's like small little dots and like textures. It's like I love textures.
There's a lot of texture.
Yeah.
It's a lot of textures.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I love that the burnt sienna is also peeking through all the greens and stuff, because like I don't really like things too solid sometimes. I love having like that little organic look to it.
Yeah, the skin of the caiman is very, very cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, I like that, and I love some of my illustrations as well. I don't know if you notice, like if you look more at it, you find more things.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah, so like I don't know if you've noticed, there's some little leaves starting to show up on his chest already, or like little random shapes. So like as you watch, you like there's more different textures, different like patterns starting to show up here and there, which is like something I like to do. I want you to look deeper into it.
Yeah.
Very
Like that.
cool. And for those that are listening to this online, obviously, you can watch us on YouTube to see the piece. We will cut to it, and you can also take a look on our website as well. And we'll leave a link to that down below in both the description on the podcast and on YouTube as well. So obviously, you talked a little bit about tattooing already, and obviously, people putting stuff on their bodies is deeply personal. How do you balance your artistic vision with the personal stories of your clients when you do tattooing?
It's tough sometimes. Because, like, I do get the occasional clients that they just want something just random on their bodies. And then there are those that, like, want to go somewhere deep into it. And whenever it comes to custom work, especially when it's something that they want to design, I always try and make sure I marry it with the way I tattoo. Because, like, I don't want to tattoo in a style that I don't like to do, and then it ends up looking bad, and I don't know if I'm interpreting their piece properly. And I'm like, if we can have a marriage with that, it's I think that's when the piece becomes more special, more unique, and more personal for the person.
Yeah, you definitely have your own unique style.
Yeah.
When I saw the one on the Bouge and Savannah, it was like obviously done by you. You could tell right off the bat. So yeah. How like do you? Out of anything, do you like doing tattooing, like more so than illustration, or you think you're kind of just open to all art forms?
I'm open to all art forms. I like learning a lot about different art forms. Like, I even, like, even right now, I'm like, should I go back to school and study animation? Like, what am I going to do? But tattooing, it's a whole different level. It's more spiritual. It's just, like, something where it's, like, you have more responsibility on the person's skin. Because, like, I remember as a kid, like, in the Seychelles, one of the ways that traveling tattoo artists would pay for rent was, like, giving tattoos. And I would watch this tattoo artist give my grandmother a tattoo on her back, and it was just, like, so fascinating. Because, like, I was like, what is the technique? What is the form? Like, what are you doing to, like, put this on the skin without, like, causing any harm? I mean, you're causing harm all the time, but, you know, without, like, that damaging type of aspect of harm. And then, like, I just wanted to, like, pursue that a bit further, especially after I graduated university and, like, graduated from the Algonquin program as well. I was like, I want to do this as well. I want to put something on people and allow them to, like, be walking canvases for myself and themselves as well. Because, like, even when I started printmaking, I wanted to do, like, textile. I studied textile a little bit and was like, I want it to be wearable. And then tattooing just became that medium where it's like, you're wearing the piece forever without, like, losing it. Yeah.
Do you want to do a shout out to where you work?
Hi, Ink Terminal. I love you guys.
Hey, Steph, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. What are your thoughts on the Ottawa art scene, and how would you like to see it improve or change? And what are some barriers that you may see that artists face in this city?
Ottawa's interesting, is what I want to say. Like, coming from conservative Alberta, it's surprisingly different. Like, I feel like it's more closed off a little bit. Because, so I lived in Calgary, and it's, like, prairies, and it's very indie vibes and hipster vibes. And we do a lot of contemporary artwork there, and everything's, like, exposed. The city allows artists to have work pieces on buses, all of the walls. There's not a lot of conflict with the government, or, like, if you're tagging, it's not really that much of a big deal. But then coming to Ottawa, I feel like you have to hunt for any of the art scenes. Like, when I first moved here, I found wall space, and from afar I was just like, it's like it just framework, like, what's going on in there? It's just little canvases. And when I entered the building, that's when I was like, oh, there's a lot of contemporary art, there's a lot of interesting work there. And then moving around the city as well, I started to see a lot of the mural works, like Alain André and Drip and Soul and Jimmy Baptiste and Mick Michel. Like, seeing all these pieces and getting to know all these artists, I'm starting to be like, okay, there's a sense of community, but there's still like I feel like this is a vibe that it's just really hard for a lot of people to express themselves. Like, especially when I went to the NAG, the National Art Gallery, everything was contemporary or just, like, Renaissance or, you know, all those big masters. But then you're not really seeing a lot of the local artists too much. And if you do see the local artists, it's all tucked away in a different small, like, building that not a lot of people hear about. And I remember last year when I finished college, I was just like, I want to be more involved. I want to see what's going on. And there was this architecture event, that we went to this summer. Thank you for coming with me.
Thanks for having me.
But last year I went with my partner, and that's when I got introduced to Mick Michelle and a bunch of other local artists that took a lot of photography. And I was just like, oh, there are artists in the city. It's just that it's not being advertised as well. And I feel like that's something that is very lacking in Ottawa, that the advertisements and marketing is very poor. And I feel like there just needs to be more funding or more training in that aspect.
More support for artists.
And more support for artists as well. Because, like, I know so many people that are just great artists, but they just don't have the resources to step into the city. Yeah. Like, City of Ottawa has these art programs that they put out, these grants and other programs that, like, people just don't know that's there. And if it is there, it's all targeted to artists that they have on commission. They just don't advertise it as well. Like, I talked to Visual Gaze. They is it Gazas? Okay, I'm so sorry. But Visual G, and he was like, because I had posted about a mural program that I had tried to get into and didn't get in, someone else got in, which is great. I'm really happy for that. And he was just like, how did you hear about this? I was like, it's on City of Ottawa. It's like on their website. And he was just like, I never saw that. Like, what's going on? And I feel like the city just needs to advertise that better, right? Like, even at the NEC where the stairs are, like, that's a huge program that's with the city. They pay you for it, but artists don't know, and they just target the people that's already on commission about it. I'm just like, we need more resources. We need to share that more. And it's just, I feel like that's something that lacks the most in this city, because like in Calgary, it's like it's everywhere. This posters, there's like it's on the news, it's word by mouth, everyone knows what's going on. But here it's just like there's none of that. Even grant writing is like so limited and so expensive. Like, I saw someone charging $500 for one day of a workshop, and like a grant workshop should be longer than that and should be a bit more affordable, because that's when people in the community can like learn. And if you don't have that $500, you're not going to make it. You have to rely on AI stuff like ChatGPT to write it, and even then you don't know if you're getting it written down properly, right?
And even that, a lot of people aren't even utilizing that yet either. So,
exactly, because there's a fear of it as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm one of the people that just don't like AI too much. I love ChatGPT because it helps me communicate really well, but AI generation, like art generators are just like so frightening. Like, a lot of people lost their jobs and stuff, you know? But that's how I think like the city should just like promote better, like even on their Instagram, promote it better, and have it everywhere. Just like let people have the opportunity to start contributing. I
feel like I learn about new things every day that I've never heard about, and I'm like, how are we not hearing about this, and how do we not know about it? And then you see the same people getting the same thing constantly, and you're like, oh, okay.
It's like, okay, like some programs, they're like, oh, we want new artists, but then they go with someone that's been on commission for so long.
And a lot of the artists I talk to too, it's like the barrier of grant writing is huge, where they stop doing it because they just don't get the grants. So then they basically become frustrated and then put their time in towards marketing their business, which it becomes as an artist, because you're forced into entrepreneurship as a business, as an artist. So it's hard. It's hard because you have to be everything to be an artist.
Exactly, you have to be your own manager.
Which you shouldn't have to be. Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not getting paid for this. I want the grant.
Yeah, absolutely. How would you see the City of Ottawa and arts organizations helping local artists to better support them going forward? Like just more education and more like marketing of the things. But is there anything else that you could see, like the grant writing course, for instance, you saw for $500?
Yeah.
Why isn't that offered as a free thing, as a free seminar where you can come in and you can actually learn how to get grants and how to write grants?
Yeah, like that's one of the things, right? Like, I want the city to like create those things, like give people more accessibility to like centers, like creating those like free workshops. Like it's great that the artist that teaches these workshops like want to charge people for access to their like talents and everything, but the city should also be like, let's like contribute, like I think it's called Paint It Up. Paint It Up was like a really great program. But I feel like the city is just like not emphasizing, not sharing that with the community. So you see so many kids just running around and not realizing that they can also contribute to the art scene, to the architecture of Ottawa, like adding all their art. But it's all the marketing. Like, I want the city to promote these programs, to make it more available for poor people that can't afford those other workshops, you know, and just like spread it around just better, like not just by word of mouth or just like tiny little, like go on our website and we'll find. It's like, what if I don't have a computer or a phone?
Yeah.
Like I know people that don't even have data.
Or the time to do it.
Or
I mean,
the
as an
time.
artist, you're struggling to do custom commissions and pay your bills and to get your work out there. You don't have time to be digging deep into these holes to figure out where you can get funding and resources. So making it widely accessible is something that we see that there's a huge, shortfall on the city's part, but also other organizations that are offering grants too. A lot of the times, or the stipulations behind them.
Yeah, and
but I mean, that's a whole other conversation that we could spend hours talking about. But I think that making art more accessible to more underrepresented artists too, that don't have the same support as somebody that maybe has those resources behind them, is like, you shouldn't have to spend $500 to learn how to do it. So,
exactly. Yeah. And I just hope that it gets better.
We're pushing for it.
Yeah, which I'm very happy to have met you guys about that. I was like, I really love your mottos of just like helping artists and representing them and just like providing the resources that they need.
Yeah.
And I hope that the rest of the city of Ottawa just can follow that and like help build that up a bit more.
Cool.
Gotta shout people's voices like yours loud.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you a bit about collaborations and the importance that it has on your career personally, professionally, and how you would recommend other people do that so they can be connected in the community and basically grow within their careers as well.
So COVID was one of the first times I started doing any collaborations with anybody. I first started it with IATSE had approached me. I don't know if you know IATSE, the union. The film unions people, they had approached me in Calgary to work on some freelance stuff. So I did some fake tattoos and art props for a TV show called Guilty Party with Kate Beckinsale. It's one of the,
cool.
And in my way, it's like, for me, even if I'm getting paid for it, it's a collaborative piece because like I'm working with them and figuring out what they want from the piece, right? And that like fueled my desire to do more illustration and more artwork in general. And then I got to meet a bunch of other amazing art bodies like Christina Krantz, who took my photo that you have, and we created a fun collective of different artists that wanted to start putting their work out there and just wasn't able to do that themselves through any grants or anything like that. And we collaborated and created like 3 like fun exhibitions.
Nice.
And we just got to do whatever we wanted, but then with some structure. And that just fueled my want to do more with people and my want to connect with everybody. And then even coming here and collaborating with you guys a little bit and with working with Alain André and just like helping him build his pieces was just like one of those things I was like, I want to do more as well. I want to like create more art with people, build that connection and go bigger and like maybe become an agent and like build those connections as well, because like I love creating art, but I love meeting people and love building bridges with everyone else, because like I believe that if you're successful, other people can become successful as well, and
Absolutely.
you just like climb that together and just become like happy people all the time.
Speaking of collaborating, I mean, you've tattooed a few artists that we know too. How was that process?
It was interesting. Like I got to tattoo Mick Michelle, and she gave me some freedom, but she also was like, I want like a specific fish, but I want it in your way, but like she wanted to see like what steps I would be taking, and she's had a history of tattooing as well, which like I never knew about. Did you not know? She used to tattoo a little bit, but back in the day, like she worked in a shop, and I got to like present her with like different concepts of what she wanted, and she would like give me a little tips here and there of like if she wanted like a justice, like, oh, I want this like more blue or more like speckled or something. And it's something I really love to do when I do tattoos. Like for me, all my tattooing is a collaboration with people. Like even if you're just like, oh, here's a design, you do whatever, it's like you're giving me your skin, you're giving me your concept.
It's huge.
I'm trying to like put that down, and that's the same thing with all of my collaborations with all like the companies that I've worked with. Like, you tell me what you want and I'll put it down, and if you don't like it, we'll adjust it together, because it's just not me who's creating it. I'm creating it for you. And it's something that you want to represent your ideas, and like
and it's fun to collaborate with
it's
people
fun to collaborate.
It's the best.
Like even with Bougie and his little smiley face. Like, that was a great collaboration.
That was a funny one.
And
that was
I
a funny one.
It,
So thank you, Steph, and thank you all for joining us today and diving into the vibrant world of Stephany. How do you say your last name again?
Victorine.
There
Oh,
we go.
Victorine.
Victorine.
The white way.
Tangerine.
If you've enjoyed today's episode and want to see more of Steph's incredible artwork, we've got you covered, of course. Check out the show notes for links to follow Steph on Instagram and explore their work on Steph's website and to book a tattoo. Don't forget to also connect with us. Follow us on Instagram, visit our website, urbanartcollective.ca, and sign up for our newsletter to stay up to date with all our latest shows, markets, and episodes. Also, we love hearing from you, so please subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform of choice and leave us feedback or review. That's always great for helping with the algorithm. Your comments and support help us grow and continue to bring inspiring stories and creative insights directly to you. So let's keep building this amazing community together. Thank you very much, everybody, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Did You Know Unearthing Urban Creatives? This podcast has been made possible by a grant from Awesome Ottawa. Our thanks to them for supporting our exploration of urban creativity. This episode was produced by the team at the Urban Art Collective with music provided by The Bouge. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at urbanartcollective.ca to keep up with our latest projects and events. If you enjoyed the show, consider visiting the Urban Art Collective in person. We're the place where community and art meet, and we'd love to share that experience with you. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, keep creating and stay connected.